Chapter 16. Hardware stores are always long places, shelves going back into forever. In Hayward Hardware, I had gone hunting back in the dim, needing 3/8-inch nuts and bolts and a lock washers for the tail skid of the fleet. Shimoda browsed patiently as I looked, since of course he didn't need anything from a hardware store. The whole economy would collapse, I thought, if everybody was like him, making whatever they wanted out of thought forms and thin air, repairing things without parts or labor. At last I found the half-dozen bolts I needed and journeyed with them back toward the counter, where the owner had some soft music playing. Green Sleeves. It was a melody that has haunted me happily since I was a boy, played now on a lute over some hidden sound system, strange to find in a town of 400 souls. Turned out it was strange for Hayward, too, for it wasn't a sound system at all. The owner sat tilted back on the wooden stool at the counter and listened to the Messiah play the notes on a cheap 6-string guitar from the sale shelf. It was a lovely sound, and I stood quiet there, paying my 73 cents and being haunted again by the tune. Perhaps it was the tinny quality of the cheap instrument, but it still sounded far misty other century England. "Donald, that's beautiful. I didn't know you could play the guitar." "You didn't? Then you think somebody could have walked up to Jesus the Christ and handed him a guitar, and he would have said, 'I can't play that thing'? Would he have said that?" Shimoda put the guitar back in its place and walked out into the sunlight with me. Or if somebody came by who spoke Russian or Persian, do you think any master worth his aura would know what he was saying? Or if he wanted to skin a D-10 cat or fly an airplane, that he couldn't do it? So you really know all things, don't you? You do too, of course. I just know that I know all things. I could play the guitar like that? No, you'd have your own style, different from mine. How do I do that? I wasn't going to run back and buy the guitar. I was just curious. Just give up all your inhibitions and all your beliefs that you can't play. Touch the thing as though it was part of your life, which it is, in some alternate lifetime. Know that it's all right for you to play it well, and let your non-conscious self take over your fingers and play. I had read something about that, hypnotic learning, where students were told they were masters of art, and so played and painted and wrote like master artists. That's a hard thing, Don, to let go of my knowing that I can't play guitar. Then it will be a hard thing for you to play the guitar. It will take years of practice before you give yourself permission to do it right, before your self-conscious mind tells you that you have suffered enough to have earned the right to play well. Why didn't it take me long to learn how to fly? That's supposed to be hard, but I picked it up pretty fast. Did you want to fly? Nothing else mattered, more than anything. I was looking down on clouds and chimney smoke in the mornings, going right straight up in the calm, and I could see. Oh, I get your point. You're going to say, you never felt that way about guitars, did you? You never felt that way about guitars, did you? And this sinking feeling I have right now, Dawn, tells me that that is how you learn to fly. You just got into the travel air one day and you flew it. Never been up in an airplane before. My, you are intuitive. You didn't take the flying test for your license? No, wait. You don't even have a license, do you? A regular flying license. He looked at me strangely, the whisper of a smile, as though I had dared him to come up with a license and he knew that he could do it. You mean the piece of paper, Richard? That kind of license? Yes, the piece of paper. He didn't reach into his pocket or bring out his wallet. He just opened his right hand and there was a flying license, as though he had been carrying it around, waiting for me to ask. I wasn't faded or bent, and I thought that 10 seconds ago it hadn't even existed at all. But I took it and looked. It was an official pilot certificate, Department of Transportation seal on it, Donald William Shimoda, with an Indian address, licensed commercial pilot with ratings for single and multi-engine land airplanes, instruments, and gliders. You don't have your seaplane ratings or helicopter? I'll have those if I need to have them, he said, so mysteriously that I burst out laughing before he did. The man sweeping the walk in front of the International Harvester place looked at us and smiled too. What about me? I said. I want my airline transport rating. You're going to have to forgive your own licenses, he said.